said, we're going to be just jumping right into it. Now, of course, everybody's familiar. Duality, if you're recording this, are you going to do like an intro or anything like that?
Nope, I just already hit the record button. This is just going to be a nice casual game of Chaos Earth. I can do a we can do a recording intro for it later if you'd like, or if you want, you can introduce the game. However you want to do it.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to just jump in.
Let's jump in then.
All right, excellent. So, as everybody knows, Rift's Earth, 300 plus years in the future, there was this massive cataclysm, shook the world to its core. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, there's demons running around, billions of people dead. And, then fast forward, centuries later, and then bam, the coalition states exist and are running things in the American Midwest. Well, this game right here is going to take place in the days directly before, the day of, and the days immediately following the onset of the rifts. So it is December 21st, 2098. The Earth has been, or the planet has been going in a pretty solid direction, technology wise, right? We have massive improvements in healthcare, in agriculture, in manufacturing, in pretty much every aspect of life. Also, in the way of the military, this is where mega damage technology gets its start. Whereas anybody who, in Rift's Earth, just about everybody has some type of mega damage body armor, mega damage protection, or this, that, or the other. Here on Chaos Earth, things are a little bit different, right? So the mega damage technology for military purposes is very strongly controlled by militaries in North America. That would be the Northern Eagle Military Alliance, or NEMA, which is an alliance between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. And they essentially have created a I heard that chuckle. They have essentially created a new superpower in this portion of the world. Um, and it's not unfair to say that it's the most powerful alliance in the world. Of course, there are other countries that have these technologies and have these manufacturing capabilities. And at first, things were going very well when this advanced technology was getting pushed out. Everybody was, sharing their ideas, sharing their new research, sharing their breakthroughs. But once the gears really started turning in people's heads, and they started realizing, hey, this super powerful technology is really good for killing people. That's when everybody kind of took a step back, and something akin to a new Cold War kind of began. But it wasn't just uh, the Soviets and the Americans. No, it was anybody in the world who had this mega damage technology. They slowed that trickle of ideas and technological exchange pretty much on an equal footing. Of course, the nations that don't have this mega damage technology, they're mere puppets. They don't have standing. They can't do anything. Militarily, they're essentially defenseless babies, just waiting to be stepped on. So they're trying their very best to please their parents, right? So it's into this world where we begin. Like I said, December 21st, 2098, you're in Marion, Virginia. It is as we know, it's a pretty idyllic little community. It's beautiful. There's plenty of hills around. You're about 5 miles from the country, one of the country's most beautiful state parks. It's called Hungry Mother. Um, which I could get into the background on that if you would like, but I'm not going to at this point. It may come up in the future. Uh, the the way that the technology has developed, where you have this kind of idyllic town that we now know, well, in the future, with the advances in manufacturing, the advances in construction, things have ratcheted up. So it's much faster. So instead of just having this one single street, you have higher thoroughfares, you have different areas of traffic. if it were to go on for another 100 years, man, essentially you would have like a mega city, mega city one type thing. But we're nowhere near that level of dystopia yet. It's still pretty idyllic, kind of sort of Jetsonsy, with a little bit more fascistic tendencies, right? Um, so the police state is real. You have advanced artificial intelligences going around, controlling drones and things like that to enforce not just laws, but just kind of decency practices, right? So akin to Singapore, don't spit on the street or you're going to get caned, right? But here, you spit on the street, you'll get fined, a beautification fee or something like that. But it's omnipresent. It's forever around. And you all are members of the Northern Eagle Military Alliance. You are NEMA personnel. You are fire and rescue personnel. You are at, I believe, it's Station 4. Um, Station 4 is an illustrious firehouse here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They're known for just kind of that uncommon valor, right? And the four of you, or the three of you, I should say, there's normally four on your truck, of course, with the way that the technology has worked. You don't necessarily need a full, 8-person crew out there. You can do the job just fine with 3 or 4 personnel. You can easily run into a burning building and rescue everybody there, thanks to your power armored suits and your mega damage firefighting apparatuses and things of that nature. So you're really a very self-contained unit, but you don't just specialize. I mean, you do specialize in fire and rescue, but uh, at times you are military personnel. So if it came right down to it, you're capable in a fight. You can handle your own. Sometimes it's called upon for fire and rescue to enforce certain laws or to tackle somebody who is found guilty of smuggling military technology, things like that. But for the most part, it is a very straightforward search and rescue type of job. The three of you, like I said, there's normally a fourth one who's with your engine, but today he's called out. He can't make it. And which one of you is the higher ranking of the three of you? This could just be anybody.
Don't everybody jump all at once. Fuck it. I'll do it.
All right. And what is your name?
Let's see. What do I want to go with this guy? We're gonna go with Kenny, Kenneth, but he goes by
Kenny.
Kenny.
All right, all right, kidding. So you are you're the lead on this particular engine, along with your two associates. We'll start with Copperpot first. What is your character's name?
I am Lucas McCoy, also known as Lou Loco.
All right. And Mike, what is your character's name?
Tomas Hernandez.
Yes. All right, I'm just making some notes here. Thank you guys very much for that. And just a real brief introduction of your character. Just tell me basically what you look like and what you're known around the station for. General attitude, or are you a plant guy? Do you have a ficus in your window or something? I'll start at the top. Kenny.
Kenny's pretty laid back as far as a manager type goes. He mostly trusts his team to know what they're supposed to do, and trust their training. Come if they need something, but for the most part, he tries to be as hands off as possible, allowing them to work with their own within their own purview, right? But that he's also you can usually find him in the break room either reading or goofing around on one of the computers. But yeah, That'll be a little bit ballroom right there.
Okay. All right. And well, why don't we find out a little about Luke?
On who?
Right, check.
Who were you asking for?
Lucas. Lucas McCoy.
Lucas was born in the foothills of Kentucky, and he proudly can trace his family heritage pretty much back to the founding of the country. The great feud of the Hatfields and the McCoys is what he's talking about. He is the only son. He has followed in his father's footsteps, joining the military, and specifically the fire and rescue. He is kind of a loner. He is a cat person when he's not doing military or fire duty stuff. And he tickles the ivories. He likes to play the piano whenever he's not out running or, doing stuff, I guess, around the firehouse. You'll catch him curled up with a book.
All
That's
right.
about it.
And lastly on the list is Tomas. Let's find out a little bit about Tomas.
Let's see. Tomas would say something along the lines that he's the last born of a big family. I have four siblings. Uh, Oldest is sister, and then my next one is my brother, but he died. And then I have another brother, and then I have a younger sister. She's a professor at university, teaches about cybernetics. Um, and then that he would live alone with his pug. Slobber Lord snores a lot. He's about 6'2", weighs about 250 pounds. Um, Dark hair, goatee. Says he's kind of a blabbermouth and have been told I talk too much. And sometimes I say the wrong thing to the wrong people. It's been said that I don't have a filter. Uh, Born and raised on Earth, is considered a scrupulous person. And he would also say he likes prospecting and big women.
All right. Excellent. So you're all around a good guy, family,
Yep.
and a dog. All right. Sounds good. A little bit of a blabbermouth, but that's all right. We won't hold that against
You
you.
may overshare.
A little bit of an overshare. Got it. All right. So that was
Speaks his
enlightening.
mind.
Now the way that the day has gone, it was super normal. It's time to knock off, right? It's end of shift. It's 7 o'clock. It's dark outside. Y'all are getting ready to pack up and head home, and you do just that. Everybody, you get on your respective vehicles, or whatever it is that you are currently driving, and you head back to your pad. Now, we heard um, a little bit about Lucas. We know that he has a cat and has probably a piano or a keyboard. So, assuming that that's what you do when you go home, you take care of your animal, you indulge in some of your hobbies. We know that Tomas, he's got his pug. He's probably going home, getting a phone call from his mama, and gonna check in on his brothers and sisters. Now, what we don't really know is Kenny, right? So Kenny he makes his way home. Hey, Kenny, what do you drive?
I got a I got a Wilkes hover cycle, um, one of those turbo series, so I get to have a lot of fun on my way home.
Nice. And you do just that. You take the higher routes, the civilian restricted airways, right? Because you're not really a civilian. So it doesn't take you but a minute to get to your house. I'm assuming you're probably in city limits are very close.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
up to
no,
5 minutes
absolutely in
if you're
town.
really far out. Um, but you make your way there, and your pad. What's it look like? Is it an apartment? Is it a house?
It's a small apartment. He's got some bookshelves in there because he likes playing games and board games and stuff like that. But his pride and joy is going to be his electronics and his entertainment center. He's deep into his video
Excellent.
games.
Excellent. So you make your way home. You get home, brush your teeth, get your shower, eat some food. Maybe not necessarily in that order. And you kick back. You turn on your television. Massive, ultra flat screen window pane type of Sony device, huge, 110 inches. Kick on your B&W speakers, and you're just being it's just all around. The whole surround kicks in. It's those Cyberworks electronics that they put in here. They're just so good. They have Wilkes tweeters, sick. It's super crystal clear. And you're playing your games and everything. The day gets away from you, right? It's probably about 9 o'clock, and you're like, man, I gotta wake up in the morning. So you shut things down, and just at that moment, you flip over to the news just to kind of see what's going on, and it's kind of the same old drivel, right? You turn on to the local station, and immediately the reporter, hostilities between the two nations continue to escalate. And then they kind of have a little bit of banter back and forth, and then the other anchor. And in other news, the Mindworks Corporation finds itself under international scrutiny yet again, and then just at that moment, your house calm chirps.
Hmm. All right, let's go pick it up.
All right, you pick it up, and it's Fred, right? He's calling in. He's Man, I'm not going to be able to make it in tomorrow. I'm sorry. I've got a stomach thing. So you think you guys could cover for me one more day?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
All right, man. Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And then the calm chirps off, and then it follows up. Dr. Angel Herenicil could not be reached for further comment. Now, turning our attention to the stars, tomorrow evening marks the first time since 555 CE all eight planetary bodies in our solar system will be aligned. And with a new moon out there, the view should be spectacular. And you're not really much into the astronomy field, so you kind of flip it over. There's some local channel on. And the Franklin High School Pirates are all set to take on the Marion Senior High School Goats. And with the state title on the line, we expect a off with the screen, man. You're probably not too terribly keen on hearing about high school athletics. And with that, close your eyes, go to sleep. It's a wonderful night. You, sir, have normal, average, everyday dreams, thinking about what you're going to do the next day. Um, Tomas, same type of deal goes on, man. It's just an average, everyday night. Now, Lucas, as you're laying down, you're getting yourself ready for sleep. You've kind of had this like sense of foreboding. It's been kind of building up on you. It's probably as you heard earlier. You read a lot, and you know that the planetary alignments come up. You're thinking, man, oh, this is messing with my juju somehow. It's weird. It's almost like you have like a sixth sense about weird stuff that's gonna happen. Um, but nothing really to push forward into. You keep telling yourself you're going to get checked one day to see if you have any of those extra sensory powers that people talk about, but you've just never gotten around to it. You're very busy, right? So you lay down for the night, get yourself some rest. Midway through the night, you just wake up drenched in sweat, and it's just like this. It was the most realistic dream you've ever heard or ever had in your life, and it was horrible. There was this flash of light and everything went blue and people were screaming, and it's almost like the earth like tore itself apart. It's shook you to your core. Make a quick roll and save versus horror factor. It'll just be difficulty of like 11. All right. So the next day, you're you're kind of disheveled. You forget to shave in the morning. You show up. Man, did you forget to put on deodorant under one armpit? Who knows, right? But you make your way to the firehouse. You're actually kind of dragging in a little bit late, which is unlike you. I think it was just a really weird evening. Of course, Tomas and Kenny, they're already there. They're shining up the truck. They're making sure everything's loaded down and ready to roll. At a moment's notice. And the chief, um, Chief Min, she comes walking, or Captain Min comes walking in, and he says, McCoy, what happened? You're on time type of dude. Like this is interesting. And she kind of fixes you with that look that she tends to give. Just kind of she's ribbing on you a little bit, but nothing big.
I kind of drag my hand down the side of my face and maybe wipe the sweat off my brow. And if I told you about a cap, you wouldn't believe me. This dream I had,
Oh,
it woke me up. I have been up all night long, pacing my room back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, laid down, trying to fall back to sleep, back and forth, back and forth. I've been through 2 cups of coffee, and I'm a half a cup of coffee drinker. I don't know. I'm frazzled. I'm frazzled.
right.
I'm ready to
All right.
go for the
Well,
day.
all right. That was my next question. If you're ready for the job, then the job's ready for you. We're glad to have you in. Hey, has anybody seen Fred? Any of you boys?
Not since we left the station yesterday, or 2 days
Oh,
ago, whenever that was.
yeah. He didn't call me. He usually calls me. Did he call any of you guys?
Nothing on this side.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll just have to note it in his file. If he shows up, have him come to my office, please. Thank you. All right, gentlemen. Have a good day. Stay safe out there. Okay, I've got a couple meetings. Oh, don't forget, it's my retirement tonight. You gonna be there at the ladder? The ladder is it's a little pub. It's basically just right across the street from the firehouse. You're gonna be there, right?
Oh, we'll be there.
Wouldn't miss it.
All right, excellent, excellent. I love it. All right, if you can get a hold of Fred, let him know that it's happening tonight, and I'd really like to see him. I really wish the whole team could be there, but if not, that's fine. Everybody's coming. The whole firehouse is coming. So, but
What
anyway,
was her name
y'all,
again?
Captain Min.
Captain Min. It is a woman, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and the day carries on. You shine things up. You get your uniforms ready. Get all your gear in good working order. Check it over with a fine tooth comb. Uh, Clean your parts of the firehouse. Make some food. Eat some food. Hang out. It's just a standard type. There are drone reports that are coming in. Um, Little bits and pieces. They're all processed. And into your shift is around 6 o'clock or so. And right around 4:30, boom, it hits you. There's a report. It's kind of all sirens type thing going on. And it's just mass casualty, mass casualty, mass casualty, mass casualty, canine behavioral research, mass casualty. And with that, you just at that second, you kind of hear the havoc that's going on outside. There's police sirens running. There's overhead drones flying out, and your engine is scrambled along with three of the other engines. But y'all, being Johnny on the spot, you're ready to go. You're in your truck, and you're cruising down the street before anybody knew what happened. At this point in time, everybody's got all of their standard equipment. Of course, not your vehicle because you're riding in the fire truck. But you got all your standard equipment, everything listed on your sheet. You got it all with you, or it's in the truck, easy to grab type of stuff, right? And y'all are cruising down the road. Who's the driver?
Not it.
I can pilot truck.
So can I.
All right.
I have a 66% on that. What's your skill level?
70.
Well, you're driving.
All
Okay.
right. All right, driver. Go ahead and throw that percentile for me. It's just a kind of a mass casualty driving check. We're just trying to see something. 62. Yeah, so you're tearing through the streets, man. It's your truck is it's technically a hover vehicle, even though your max altitude is only about 10 feet, right? So there are little kickstands that come down. You're very much prone to potholes and things like that. But you're expert driving, you easily make it to the scene. And this is one of the more intriguing buildings of Marion, Virginia. It's a recent development, maybe in the last 10 years. It's the Canine Behavioral Research Institute. They came in. This was right at the height of a very controversial program that involved animals and genetic splicing. There was a big public outcry over it, and all that genetic animal testing was kind of put on the back burner because people were starting to think, hey, wait a second, they're literally trying to make humanoid animals. This is they're breeding a slave race, and there was a huge public outcry, and it wasn't just in leading heart liberal places or just in the United States. It was pretty much across the world. There were some holdouts, of course, but pretty much across the world, folks were just not okay with humanity dabbling with the genetic code of other creatures in order to make a slave race. It's not cool, man. Um, the Canine Behavioral Research Institute of Marion, Virginia, it was cleared of any and all type of genetic testing of that sort. Right? It was literally a behavioral institute, so they say. But you don't get a building this big, this pretty, and this advanced to do a little bit of research on some dogs. But I digress. You're first on the scene, with the exception of a couple of drones. Boom, pull up, and man, it's havoc. There's flames bursting out of the buildings. Um, I mean, there's like you see parts of it like shaking. It's like the second trade center building. When it started to come down, like you could see it shake before it fell. Um, but even still, those first responders, they went in there, and today that's the job. With a quick report from a drone, there are life forms. There are signs of life inside the building, and they need to be evacuated. There's already a couple of scientists that have stumbled out of the building. They're pretty well singed. One guy's arm is just gone. It looks like his lab coat was just cauterized right to his skin. Right, he's just uh, he's out. He's totally out. There's no asking him what's going on without some significant medical treatment. But a couple other scientists are out there, and they look super bleary and dazed. And it's just, like I said, just absolute chaos. What's happening? There were some civilians that weren't scientists that have come running out of the building, and there's of course a crowd gathering. You hear sirens in the distance. With Tomas's expert driving, y'all were able to get there even before the other sirens that you heard when you were in the station. So there you are. What's the move?
Oh, looks like we need to break out the equipment and make our way in.
Yeah, I think we would probably at this point follow our standard protocol for first on the scene for first responders and maybe do like a quick a fire assessment or a damage assessment, just like as a
Yep,
quick once over before we're kicking down the first
yep.
door.
And I'm pretty sure everybody's got that skill. So you can all throw it and tell me what comes out of it. I don't know what your percentage is, so just tell me if it's pass or fail.
What skill?
Fail on
It
everything.
is
Ooh.
skill is called Fire Damage Assessment,
Oh, I just got 35.
Fire Assessment and Response.
Fire assessment and response.
Well, that's two different skills.
Yeah, either or. Just tell me which
Either
one you're
or.
throwing for, and yep, and if you
Okay.
made it or not.
Well, that's an alt one, so I made that one. That was for the fire assessment and response,
Yeah.
and then the other one
Come on,
is
just one skill at a time.
That was me,
Uh,
Copper. I was rolling for my
okay.
fire damage, and I failed on that as well.
and that's
All right,
a
so
98. That's a fumble on the second one. Uh,
so so we got a fire assessment, which was successful. Valley, did you get fire damage?
Uh,
Successful.
Jeebus. No, I got assessment and response.
Okay. All right. So your assessment and response, naturally you're able to set up protocols, and your team is starting to move very fluidly. You're getting things going. You're able to hook up with some of the other first responders coming in. The law enforcement personnel are coming. They're going to set up the cordon for you, so that way you don't have to worry about trying to mitigate crowd control. They're on route. They'll be there in like 5 seconds. So they're hauling ass. Um, now the fire assessment that you were able to pick up there, Tomas, you you've seen things like this before. You've never had personal hands-on experience outside of training with what's going on, but it looks to you. Obviously, it looks like there was some type of an explosive that went off on scene, probably multiple types. One thing that's giving it away, of course, is the fact that there was a massive rumble that was detected, but the flames that are kicking off here are at such a high temperature that it's easily able to start melting down bits and pieces of the mega steel that they have running through the innards of this. Lead you to believe that it was some type of a plasma based explosive that went off here, along with potentially some type of other concussive explosive that's gone off recently at this location. Um, with that information, what are you guys doing? What are your steps?
Hmm. Well, I think I'm going to look for the best mode of entry into the building, but also before that, I want to link up with anybody who's already on scene and figure out if there's anybody that we need to go in and get. Because if all we need to do is contain this from getting out of control outside, no sense in going inside.
Right. So to answer that one, the first thing you do, you identify a couple of entries. One, you can always up the ladder, and you can go in through a higher level. Not necessarily. That's not necessary at this point. Two, there's the front door. Doesn't look like it's billowing flames. That's where the scientists and some of the civilians have rushed out of. There's smoke, but not a lot of flames. Other than that, from your direct vantage point, you can't see anything. It does look like the west side of the building has sustained significant amounts of damage and is in jeopardy of falling. Um, but the first part, figuring out a way in, you've got a couple of options. The second part, um, really the people that are on scene are the civilians rushing out and the scientists. You stop a couple of the citizens. Are you in your power armor or are you in just your regular standard suit?
I'd say I'm probably like geared up to go in, so probably in the power armor, but I got my helmet off.
All right, so you're full, 8 inches taller than like everybody else in the general vicinity. Um, and a couple of civilians stopped. They're like, I don't know. I was just dropping this off. I was doing this. I was having lunch with my, significant other. Yada yada yada. These things are just kind of getting nothing out of it. But then one of the scientists comes up. He's kind of dragging the guy that has his arm essentially melted off. And he's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. There's researchers down in the sub levels. I think everybody's gotten out of the upper levels, but the sub levels, there's researchers down there. Oh, I couldn't get them out. I couldn't get them out. The doors were locked, and I couldn't get them out." And he starts, like crying into his hands.
Okay. All right, guys. We looks like we got to go in. Can you tell us exactly how to get to where these people were?
He kind of looks up for a second from his tears, and he says, "There's yeah, through the front, just through this entrance here. There's a reception desk. You go behind the reception desk, and you head towards the western wing. There's an elevator, and there's stairs. The elevator, I don't know if it's working now or not.
No, we
I
don't need
got
the
such a
elevators. The
migraine.
stairs. The stairs are what we need.
Stairs are just beside the elevators, and they lead north, they lead up, and they lead down. Of course, you're going to want to go to the sub levels. So you head down. If you go to the first floor, the first subfloor, there's a maglock door. Gosh, I don't have the passcode to get in. I'm not one of the researchers. I just do veterinary work. Oh my gosh. Oh God, I think, is everybody dead except for me?
I'm gonna call out to see if there's any researcher nearby that does have that code that could get us in.
Yeah, there's no research. It looks like anybody that was on the sub level is still in the sub level.
All right, so we are gonna have to.
Moss looks around and he definitely tells the guy, it's like, yes, you're the only survivor.
He's devastated. I mean, he's just absolutely broken up. But he says, my my wife was on. She was a researcher. And he just loses it. Complete loss. Like, no further questions, Your Honor.
Well, looks like we're either gonna have to hack the thing or break in. So bring the big
Let's
tools.
yeah, let's gear up. Anybody that's not in what is it the NEMA, I guess the power armor. I guess would that be your like our fire
Yeah,
suits? Yeah, let's
yeah.
we
The
need to get
EX
into those and
220, I
bring it
think, or
on.
FR 220.
Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
There's a couple
gonna
of other trucks that have pulled up, and I mean, of course, with the police and everything, they're showing up as well. Nobody's power armored. A couple of the other trucks have pulled up. None of those guys are in their power armor yet. I mean, they're suited up. They have their mega damage stuff, but it's not their powered suits. So it's really you guys. You guys are the ones.
Yeah.
And of course, they start taking damage control on the outside, and start running the water, running the hoses down, trying to douse the flames, and trying to tend to people, checking concussions, things like that. They're doing all this. It's just a hectic mess out there. Of course, from y'all's vantage point, a full 8 inches taller than damn near everybody, thanks to your suits, you can clear a path pretty fast.
Yeah. Let's get going.
yep. Let's go to the front door where they were coming out. We can go in, make our way to the stairs, and head on down. We'll make our way to the reception hall and then to the west wing, and then go down the steps. That's what that researcher said before he got frantic.
Yep. Let's do that.
That's what he said.
We'll follow that path.
All right, and you guys do that. You make your way into the building. It's dark, man. It's super dark. Thankfully, your suits have augmented vision, so you're able to kind of look through a lot of the smoke through either your infrared or your thermal vision. Thermal vision's kind of bunk in this instance, simply because it is so freaking hot. Obviously, whatever's causing these flames is burning at, you know, 700 degrees centigrade or Fahrenheit. It's massive. And so you guys are, you know, you're making your way through. Um, you're able to find the wing that you need to get to, and sure enough, there's the stairwell. You make your way down. The emergency lights, the emergency generators are kind of kicking on. They're kind of dousing everything in a kind of a reddish light. Um, but you make your way down, and boom, there's the maglock door directly in front of you, and it's just saying, you know, it's just got a red light on it, and it's waiting for that mag key to get put through.
We don't have the mag key.
You don't have a mag key.
Is this an MDC door or an SDC door?
There are ways to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say.
A big old axe strike to the door will find itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it will. Is that what the plan is?
I think so.
Yep, I think that's
Is
the
there
All
way
right,
to go.
excellent.
You don't have to swing hard.
All right, Lucas, you pull back with your fire axe and you let it rip, and that door just disintegrates. You tear it like it's made out of paper. Um, yeah, it's steel, but it ain't that much steel.
Nope.
And busts through the door, and it pushes out of the way. You know, you're able to, with your augmented strength from your powered armor suit, you're able to bend back the bits and pieces of the door that you need in order to make entry into this area. Now, this area is kind of interesting. Um, it's a largish room. It has kind of a grid-like pattern on the floors and on the ceiling and on the walls. There's another maglock door. Is if you keep going further west, there's another maglock door. This one is slightly opened, right? The little mag strip is flashing, you know, red and yellow, red and yellow, red and yellow, and it's partially open. But what makes this room truly interesting is the fact that there is a researcher, you would assume, because you know, dressed in scientist gear, what's left of it, who has been completely ripped in half. Um, the upper torso is laying like basically dead center of the room, and their guts just go straight back to the door. There's blood all up and down the vertical slit between the doorways. Essentially, like the body was pulled up and down this 7 foot doorway and ripped in two. But other than that corpse, no other signs. One thing that you do notice is it's missing, the body is missing the bottom half of its left arm.
Hmm.
Like as in bitten off and taken, we can assume, or just maybe he was only born with one arm.
Oh no, yeah, it's definitely been mangled by something.
All right.
Any type of medical skills there that would be relevant, or any skills that would be relevant to determining what could possibly have made that damage?
That's what I'm looking at now. Um,
I got the medical doctor, pathology.
Best I got's paramedic. I'll throw a
Paramedic would
paramedic.
do it.
Yeah, paramedic
Yeah.
is the best I got.
I do not get that paramedic. Mine was a 55. And I rolled a 64.
Missed it by one. No. Yes.
I also have biology and paramedic.
Oh, a paramedic would do it. Field surgery, anything like that that deals with wounds.
Okay, field surgery. Yes.
Got it.
Field surgery is a 64. So I got 57.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. That's definitely enough to do it. It looks like whatever this was by some type of extremely large dog. You would assume by size, like by the bite diameter, maybe a Mastiff or a Cane Corso or something like that. Just huge, absolutely devastating animal. But yeah, that's what you can tell from the arm, the severed lower portion of the upper torso. Uh, there's definitely some slicing there that shows metal against skin and bone, right? So obviously, this person was in fact pulled up and down that doorway and ripped in half just by the tears and the way that the wounding is done. It's pretty freaking horrendous. Now the smoke is bellowing out of these doors, right? The ones directly in front of you. What do you do?
Well, what optics do we have on our helmets that could work with this? Give us better visibility.
Let's see here. Let's see. Optical enhancements. You have passive night vision, telescopic, macro lens, thermo imager, light filters, HUD multi screen. You can view up to six different images without impairing your vision. Um, there's IR. I mean, you have ways of kind of penetrating the smoke with
Mm-hmm.
the thermo imaging for sure. Of course, once you get out of the smoke and you start getting closer to the heat, it's a little bit impaired. But each one of these vision modifiers also has enhancement capabilities. So if say the plasma is burning too hot, you can adjust it down to kind of modify that out of your field of vision, so that way, yes, you still see the plasma burning, but it's more relegated to a background color, so it's not quite as intense.
Gotcha.
I would like to check the body of the researcher to see if he has one of the mag keys, like either on a lanyard or in his pocket.
Right. So you're going through the pockets, and you see it. There is in fact a lanyard. It's in the one remaining hand, but it looks like the lanyard is like totally shredded. So it looks like whatever was tearing at him when he made it through the door might have been trying to go for that lanyard. Um, just because it looks like it's been clawed down the center,
So
but it's still
the
intact.
the mag key's still intact on the lanyard, but the lanyard is
It's
tore in
shredded.
half. The lanyard
Yeah, and you
itself is
can see
shredded.
yeah, and you can see down that one good arm as you move the hand over. You see massive like claw rakes that have gone down. So like, who knows how this person died? Was it from the significant amounts of trauma that they sustained from being ripped in half? Was it from losing blood from their left arm that's missing, or was it these deep gouges which clearly tore through veins and arteries on their right hand, their right arm?
Okay.
It's unknown.
Well, I'll pick up a mag key since that's still good.
All right, you snatch up the mag key.
I'm gonna call out, see if there's any survivors that can hear me.
Yeah, as you shout into the darkness and the smoke, with the red light gleaming everywhere, you do hear faintly the sound of a woman, and she says, "We're in here."
Am I able to pick up the direction she said that from?
Yeah, I mean, there's really only one direction. It's
Okay.
straight through that door.
All right. Well, sounds like we know where we need to go.
Yeah. And I guess I would call back in response, how many is we?
Four, I think.
Is there
Coming in.
debris or anything in the way of the doorway?
Other than the blood and gore of the person that's strewn out directly in front of you, no.
Okay. Uh,
I mean, there's plenty of debris around, but nothing would signify a massive struggle.
I'll attempt to open the door then to them.
All right, so you make your way to the door. You run the mag key. It opens, but it doesn't open fully. You basically have to turn sideways to get through it in your suits. Maybe if you didn't have your suit on, then you can walk, normally, shoulders forward. But
Yeah, that ain't happening.
yeah, it's not worth unsuiting. It's not worth doffing your armor.
Right. Uh, Attempt to turn sideways and get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. First one through the door, Tomas. Um, do you have any skills that would be related to TV video, anything optics related, anything technology based, anything that would show, advanced knowledge of surveillance or structures, or actually medical doctor in this instance, because you are in a
I,
research laboratory,
yeah, I
biology,
do have.
things
I
like
am
that.
a medical doctor. I have basic electronics, but I also have medical doctor. Did you want me to
All
roll
right.
medical doctor?
If you want to, I'm assuming everybody else is coming in as well. Same basic question that I asked Tomas. If you have any type of skills like that, throw them out and let's see what you got. I don't like to roll perception and play. I think it's dumb.
All right. So my medical doctor is at 69. That is a 23.
Excellent. So you're looking around. You do see, first and foremost, you see what looks like it's probably the woman that was calling out to you. She's laying by a desk, and the desk has all types of medical equipment on it. It's got centrifuges and things of that nature. There's a computer that looks to still have power. It looks like maybe the generator is keeping that computer operational. Um, but other than that, man, you can see uh, you can see basic medical supplies back there. There's first aid kits. There's what looks to be like a locked medicine, like a locked pharmacy. There's everything that you would potentially ever want for a super sci-fi medical genetics testing facility. And she's laying there on the floor, and she's obviously there's blood everywhere. She's covered in ash and dust, and all around you, like the building's starting to rumble. It's,
Sounds like we need to get people and
you
get
can,
out.
Right.
yeah, you can
Let's
start to feel
see.
it through.
Are we able to do like quick paramedic checks on the four people that are there to see who's able to get up and walk, stability, kind of assess them for, are they huddled down here because they're afraid, or are they huddled down here because they are incapacitated?
Right. All right. So let's see. So there's what, four people?
That's what you said.
Yeah. As you're making your way through, one of the people is obviously like just panic stricken. He doesn't look like he's been injured in any way, shape, or form. It's just whatever this massive trauma is that's really got him jacked up. Another one some minor injuries, but mostly is trying to, is mostly just wide-eyed and terrified of something. Two of the people there are significantly wounded, including the woman who was calling out for help. She has very deep lacerations that run basically from her left breast down to her right hip bone, and just deep. And you can see bite marks on these on the two that are injured relatively significantly. You can see bite marks on them, very similar to what you would think of as a bear attack, or a very large wolf or something like that. Um, but as you're making your way through this building, if you have basic electronics, anything like that, throw it out there. Any type of like bizarro skills that you may have that might come into play, just as like a perception based type thing.
Well, I'm also going to ask, what made these wounds? Like, how did you get these?
Ah, it was it was the dogs. They got too smart.
How
They
big are
eventually
these
broke free. They're
dogs?
usually ah, oh god, uh, 6.5 feet, I think, is what Kane measured at. He was always so nice. He was so sweet. He was so intelligent. You could talk to him about anything. Ah, but God, I don't know. The last few days they've just been crazy. And he was telling me that last night he had a dream and everything was ending. He didn't know how to explain it. They've never been out. Oh God, the pain.
Whoa. Talking to the dogs.
Did you just
Yes,
say the dog talked back?
yes, yes. Oh God,
And I
you
yell
don't know
back
what's
over my
going. You're
shoulder, "We are talking, dogs!"
you're NEMA personnel. You don't know what this is. This is Canis Helmet Superior. This is the Dog Boy program.
Mm,
Ah, God, ah, they're always so good. They're so good. I don't. Please, 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 please. When you find them, don't hurt them. Please don't hurt them. They're such good boys. They're such good boys. Such good babies. Oh God, I think I'm dying. And if you're throwing a paramedic check, you could definitely guarantee that without some assistance, this person is dying. Blood loss is a bitch.
And that paramedic
paramedic.
check is very successful.
Yes, it is. That was a nice roll.
Yeah, so it takes you a minute or so to really get things going, but you're able to bandage this wound up, and you're able to staunch the blood flow. Not before she passes out, or at least is kind of in a fugue type of state, kind of mumbling nonsense. Um, like I said, there's three other people here. One of them is just gone. Like his mind is totally freaking shattered. The other two are damaged. One of them not significantly. Uh, the other one has suffered some pretty major injuries. Once again, this looks like bites and things like that. But you also notice some more of that massive burning that you saw outside. It looks like this person was not directly next to a plasma explosive when it went off, but was close enough to catch some of that back heat.
All right, well, let's get these people out of here.
Yeah. So y'all start loading them up. It's easy to carry uh, two healthy people with one of these power armored suits. Um, with people that are injured, it's a little bit more tricky. How are you getting them out?
I'm gonna fireman's carry them.
Well, the one guy should be able to walk himself out.
Yeah.
The one guy, he's walking, he's moving slow, but he realizes the very desperate nature of the situation that you're in, especially as the building starts to shimmy and shake. Um, who's going through the door first, and who do you have?
I'll go
I'll
through
go
the
through
door.
the door.
Okay, go on.
Good. No, good. You
I'll
can
say
go.
I'll go first with the person I just patched up.
All right. All right, you turn sideways to make your way through the door. You're moving through, and the building just starts to shake even more. Just like you
We gotta
feel,
hurry up,
as a
guys.
as a matter of fact, the header for the door kind of buckles a little bit, pushing. Fortunately, pushing the door open a little bit more. So if you're carrying, say, two people, you'd be able to make it through. Um, but still, that was some structural damage that's occurred. Large rocks start to fall. All right, who's next?
I'll go
I'll go.
last.
Okay, I'll go second, and I will have the guy that is cognizant of the seriousness of the situation. If I have like a handheld canister of oxygen or something with like a little face mask thing that I'm able to hand off to him to carry to give him something to focus on, that's what I'm going to do. And the other not drastically injured guy, I guess I'll take. That way I'll be able to have my eyes on two people.
All right, yeah, absolutely. You would have that oxygen master. That only makes sense. So yeah, you begin to pass your way through the door. Like I said, it's a little bit more open than it was before. Um, and you're able to pass through. It seems like the rocks are starting to fall a little bit heavier. The building is shaking even more. I mean, you feel the tremors moving up through your body, so much so that it would definitely impact your speed. Your speed is now reduced by 10% as you're moving through, along with any strike, parry, dodge, initiative bonuses, blah, 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 blah. All that is at -1, simply because of the way that the earth is shaking at this point. Next up, Tomas, you're on your way through. You have the significantly injured person that wasn't the doctor, right?
So not the woman, the male one that was damaged.
Yes.
Okay. And upon inspection, how serious are his wounds? Not as bad as the
Uh,
woman's, or are they on par?
let's see. You want high for this role. Low is bad. They're significant. Possibly this person is going to lose their leg, but you think with stabilization, it doesn't have to be immediate, but within the next few minutes, stabilization should probably save their life. With advanced medicine, cybernetics are a thing.
Okay. What am I rolling high for?
Oh no, you
With
that was me. I was rolling.
ah,
But if you're trying to stabilize, you can do that before you exit, or you can get out of the building before it collapses.
well, do I have room in this room to stabilize him before I get him through the opening in the door?
You could attempt a very basic like paramedic slash first aid type of thing. Anything
Okay.
major surgery wise wouldn't work.
Okay. Paramedics. There we go. Boom.
All right, excellent. Yeah, so you're able to. I mean, it takes you maybe 15 seconds, and this is as they're scooping their people up, as Lucas and as Kenny are scooping their people up and starting to move towards the door. You're finishing up the patch job on this fella, and you get him stabilized to the best of your ability. No significant blood loss occurring at this point in time. You think he's going to make it if you get him outside. Scoop him up and start making your way. As you squeeze your way through the door, The building, like I said, is just rumbling and shaking even more. And as you make your way through the door, um, the room that you were just in, like it starts to just like domino effect from the opposite end of the hallway, which was actually quite a large room, right? So it just starts to domino and collapse, 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 and it's coming maybe at about 50 miles an hour towards you. Um, Gentlemen, you've got some racing to do because it seems like this building is coming down. Fortunately, it looks like it's collapsing in a direction from behind you towards you. So let's get moving.
All right, how are we doing
All right.
this?
Very straightforward. So what I'm going to do here is you have your speed. Go ahead and take your speed, and you are going to roll a D100. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get to 100. This is more of a clock than anything else.
Yep, 58. My speed is, wow, 26. I can run 520 yards in 1 minute.
Excellent. So you're hauling ass. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody, let's keep this going. Just roll that 100 side and then add your speed.
We've definitely
All right,
gotten to
so
100.
yeah, y'all definitely made it to 100. Um, it's really just made it through that very first action, right? So you're able to get up those stairs, get out of there, and just at that point in time, as you're making your way out, the building starts to bust down all around you. Boom, 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 boom. And quickly, does anybody have the demolition skill, any fire assessment, fire damage, like any of those skills
I have
or
a demolition. I have
intelligence?
both
I got
demolitions. I have
demolitions.
demolition.
Hey,
I
hey, there we go.
I got demolitions also.
I crushed it.
There you go.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, that's it. That's all we need. We just need the one roll. So something kind of catches your eye on the way out, Kenny. But like I said, the building's coming down, and you're running. But you notice it, and it's weird, right? So you kind of lock your heads up display on it, and you're able to view that as you're running past due to the 360 sensors that you have on your suit. And as you're running out, that device, right, that thing, it erupts into a ball of plasma behind you and it just vaporizes a huge section of the building, just gone, right? And you make your way out like just in time as the rest of the building just collapses down around it. Um, you come out, you've got your people. They're bloody, they're injured, they're traumatized. Um, it's just a bad situation. All in all, you all were in there for just maybe a couple of minutes. But already the NEMA personnel on the outside have taken the situation outdoors well in hand. Of course, there's people shouting and panicking and crying and yada 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 yada. But the efficiency of NEMA is such that the law enforcement they've got everything zoned off. People are backed off to a safe location. You've got the doctors that were out there in front. They're already receiving medical care. The other fire teams that were with you or that arrived after you, they rush out. Hold on just 1 second.
What time is it?
9:30.
TVs.
Oh, and they rush out to take care of the injured doctors and things like that you brought out, able to wrap them up quickly, get the people in the necessary medical necessary ambulances and things like that, start transporting to the hospitals. You're starting to make your initial damage assessments, seeing what's happening around you. When you're approached by this guy, he's very mousy, and he looks at you and he says, "So you were the first responders here on scene. I'm Captain Charles Whitgrove. with internal special intelligence. And he flashes a badge. He says, of course, you're well aware that anything that you may have seen or come across in this building was, of course, confidential or classified secret material. And of course, we'll be wanting to do a debrief when you return to the fire station. Um, that should be forthcoming. Perhaps, what do you say, tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.
Okay.
All right. Good day, gentlemen. And was there anything that you did see that you would like to report to Internal Special Intelligence?
I'll go through the injuries that we saw on the people we pulled out, and mention the part where she said the dogs were having dreams and thought the end of the world was coming.
Hmm. Well, that's a unique and very unfortunate thing for her to have said, since, of course, these programs were shut down long ago. Obviously, she was delusional from blood loss. I'm sure you would agree.
Oh, absolutely. Lots of things could have caused the injuries we saw down there.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, I think we see eye to eye. If I'm not mistaken, your captain is retiring this evening. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
The dishes clean or dirty?
Dirty, I'll start him. Hmm. I see in your future a promotion. It's good to know someone who likes to play ball the same way that I do. Well, in that case, Lieutenant, I'll see you in the morning. And he flashes kind of a shitty smile to you and proceeds on his way.
All right. So what's next
All right,
till?
and with
Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what are we gonna do now, guys? What are we doing for the rest of the night?
Well, I
Tequila.
don't know about you, but I want to get back to the firehouse. I'm gonna get out of this armor. I'm gonna get into the fucking shower. I'm gonna get this stink off of me. I'm gonna get
And
this.
then we go to party.
That's what I'm talking about, Tomas. We go to the party.
And we drink tequila.
Or 3 tequila.
Or floor. All right, excellent. Yeah, so you guys are able to kind of link up with the other NEMA crews that are there, the other fire and rescue personnel, and give them a quick briefing on what's going on, what you saw when you were in there, with the smoke and the damage and the collapsing of the sub basements and things like that. And you're kind of sort of at that point, everything's getting taken care of, and you're really dismissed back to the firehouse. You make your way back, you get your vehicle taken care of, get your armor scrubbed down, get your uniforms off, get cleaned up. And next thing you know, man, it's 6:30, and everybody's you're all having dinner. Of course, the cleanup crews are pretty much done with what they were doing. There's now it's the robotic task force has moved in, and they're cleaning up. At least this is what the people that were on the mass casualty site that have returned back to the fire station. They're telling the robotic force is showing up, and they're starting to handle cleanup and you know. Recovery operations, things like that. So there's no more need for human personnel on scene. Uh, but all in all, it looks like there were maybe a grand total of 6 people who lost their lives in this building. It was staffed up, had about 400 people that worked inside it. So 6 isn't bad. Of course, everyone would like it to be less, but 6 isn't so bad. And you make your way through the rest of the firehouse, and like I said, you get some good lasagna that night, and get cleaned up, and it's around about 6:30, and there it is. Next thing you know, man, I think Captain Min's shindig starts at around 7. You guys doing anything to kill the next 30 minutes?
No.
I'm quietly standing in the mirror after my shower, debating on whether or not I want to grow a beard or shave.
Hmm. Tomas, you're getting out of the shower and you see Lucas sitting there just like checking himself out in the mirror, kind of rubbing his face.
You should grow a beard. No, you, you look like you are a naked little baby.
Naked little baby. My dad had a beard, Tomas.
Me,
I
I
think I
go with
will.
goatee. I go with goatee.
I've never grown a beard, Tomas. Let's join this journey together. You and I. Well, let's grow our facial hair.
Hmm, okay, deal.
All right. So we have a pact of facial hair growing. Kenny, are you doing anything in particular?
No, I'm just going to be filing paperwork, getting ready to head out. I
All right.
assume I have quite a
It's
bit to do.
Yeah, after a mass casualty like that, of course, a lot of the other crews have already headed out, even though they came back after you. It sucks to be the first on scene, but hey, that's why that's why you're a lieutenant. And the rest of your crew hangs out there with you. Of course, Tomas and Lucas, they're not the the type of guys that are going to leave you just hanging while you finish up the paperwork. So they make themselves busy at the firehouse while the rest of the station is essentially over at the Ladder Bar and Grill. About 7, 8 o'clock, probably around 8 o'clock or so. You you finally finish everything up. You get your after action reports and all that stuff done, and you make your way over to the Ladder Bar and Grill. Now crossing the street here, you just kind of have to be on the lookout for very high speed vehicles, because even though the military controls most of the mega damage weaponry, the commercial automobile market is pretty wild, very much Wild West. So you've got kids doing 220 miles on a jet bike, running through, running down Main Street. So it can be a little hazardous, but nothing that's going to make you, make a dice jump or anything like that. But you get about halfway across the street, and Lucas, you have just this like kind of out of body experience almost. It's just like there's just so much pain, and it's like an emotional trauma pain. Like it's something that like you would assume that like it's something like the survivors of like Hiroshima and Nagasaki would talk about. Just that trauma that you could feel the connection to your ancestors being lost, and like a complete separation from the then and the now, and you kind of freeze up for a second, and you stumble a little bit, kind of trip in the middle of the road. You don't fall, of course. You're just like, whoa, God. And your Tomas and Kimmy, they kind of see you stumble a little bit. And honestly, guys, he looks like he might be getting sick.
Hmm.
Just get me across the street. I just need to sit down. Cough and spit. Don't let anyone see that. Just get me to the bench.
All right, well, I'm going to help him over to a bench so he can sit down and be sick for a minute.
Yeah, you're able to get him across the street. No, no further incidents. Makes it across. Kind of sits down outside for a second. takes in the fresh air. You've seen it a million times when people have too much smoke inhalation or something, or too much adrenaline. But it was kind of weird, kind of not something that you would normally see in a professional like Lucas, right? Um, but he sits there, breathes a little bit, clears the air, or gets the fresh air in and clears his mind.
Why are you
Wonders.
sick? We haven't even started drinking yet.
I don't know. I don't know. I just I felt like I was just going to throw my guts out of my mouth in the middle of the road right there. I'm still trying to shake off that fucking dream from last night, man. I've got like 2 hours of sleep. I don't know. I don't know. Let's just go have a drink. And if we're not drinking to our old captain, let's drink to our new captain. And now slap our comrade on the back and kind of ruffle his neck a little bit and, you know, not necessarily give him a hard time, but stroke him a little bit.
Yeah, and so the playful nature of the brotherhood, kind of goes, right. Um, the party's bumping inside the ladder when you get there. I would say like the strobe is going, but it's not that kind of party. You're a bunch of firefighters and it's a bar and grill, right? But the station has rented this place out for the night. It's a pretty large type of family establishment. Uh, fire marshal would probably say you fit about 200 people in here. And it's really kind of at that capacity, with the people from the station, with their families there. Captain Min and her extended family are all kind of hanging out. The bartenders pouring drinks, open bar. The food is there. It's free. It's good. The people are, listening to music. They're, talking. They're watching, a little bit of television or what have you. And that's just the way that this party is. It's really friendly. It's really cool. It's really chill. Um, Nothing seems to be amiss. Now, who is my it not in person? Who's going to be it?
Not it.
I got to not it.
Do I have to be it because of things?
Nope. Nope.
I'll still be it. Fuck it. Why not? Things might come
All
in
right.
handy.
So Lucas, you're there and you're chatting it up with this lady, having a good time. Yeah, it might be going your way tonight. You're 24 hours, but it might be going your way. Um, and then this guy comes up to you, and he's all bedraggled looking. You might call him a neckbeard, and he's sweating, and he's just like, oh. And he's like, hey, you were one of the guys that the mass casualty. You were one of the first ones in, weren't you? Yeah, it was you.
Yeah,
I know it
yeah,
was you. I
yeah. We
saw
were
you
there.
on the drone footage. Yeah, it was you. Hey, when you were in there, did you see anything? Because I swear, dude, I must have seen like 20 werewolves come out of that place. It was the freakiest shit, man. The freakiest shit. What were they doing at the bottom of that lab? What was happening there, man? This is in our town, dude. And then like as he's kind of like doing this, he's getting more and more intense and a little bit more unhinged. And the chick you were talking to, she was kind of like, yeah, she kind of leans back, and next thing you know, she's off and she's over at the bar having a drink, and this guy just like takes her.
Well,
Seat.
thanks for
Believe
fucking
me,
being.
he did save your
Thanks
skin.
for throwing shade on my muff. But
Uh, but he,
bro, the only thing I saw down there was four people who were on the verge
he's
of
like he
dying.
leans forward. He's like, oh, oh, like real people or like animal people. And his eyes go
I
wide.
didn't
He
see
kind of
many
looks up into
animal
the sky.
people. And I
Oh,
that's kind of what I whisper back, like in in his ear. Like I'm not trying to speak it out loud. So at this
he, he,
point, this is very discreet conversation, at least for me, especially being that Captain Charles had spoken with us earlier.
about all 278 pounds of him, at his 5'7" stature. He looks at you and he kind of leans back a little bit. He gives you this knowing look and he winks and he says, "Right, I got you, buddy. If you ever need me, just look me Shadow Master. Find me online." And he gets up and he grabs his little pocket computer. Out the door he goes.
Okay.
And the
And
party resumes, right?
Do I overhear this conversation?
Yeah, you're close enough. You kind of saw what was going on.
Was he trying to hit on you? You were
and
talking for quite a bit.
I'll grab my drink and I'll toast you real quick and I'll nod my head to get us out of the immediate area. And I you know what, man, I just need to get a little bit of fresh air, Tomas. You want to join me?
See?
And as we go outside, I'll reiterate, what this guy said to me, and he didn't. I don't know if he struck me as a worker, as a family member of a worker. He called himself the Shadow Master. He told me I could find him online, but he definitely. He said he saw 20 dog bear things walk out of there, run out of there, but you after seeing the damage that happened to that guy in there, I can't say that I can't not believe him, but what the fuck is this kid talking about?
It is what mm, Captain Whitgrove said about the. Well, not Captain Whitgrove. He mentioned it kind of, but the lady that we helped, he said something about uh dog boy program.
Hmm.
My brother, rest his rest his soul, he all was in the military also, as was I, long a while ago. But he died because he was part of the military trying to make super soldiers. I think they said that was augmentation. And something went wrong and he died.
Well, first and foremost, I'm sorry to hear about your brother.
Gracias.
Denata. Don't ever let anybody try to turn me into a dog.
Oh no, no.
And I think we need to let Kenny know about this. And fuck, I with these dreams that I had last night, my adrenaline is times 10 and I'm trying to rein it down, but I know I'm going to be online and I know I'm going to look for the Shadow Master. To say the least, the kid's got my interest peaked.
Mm,
I think we've been missing for enough time. Let's head back inside.
okay.
All right, and with that, you all walk back into the ladder. It's a clear night out. That's probably about 33 degrees, but just a beautiful sky. You can see into forever with it. As a matter of fact, you see You see those eight heavenly bodies that we've been talking about. You see them aligned. It's beautiful, man. Um, and you walk inside. Everybody's jovial, having a fantastic night. People are starting to get a little bit more drunk, but still, maintaining that cool-headed level of professional respect for each other. It's just a good night, man. The vibes are happening. Everybody's just super chill. Captain Min gets up and she starts making her retirement speech. Um, and she's letting everybody know that since she's stepping out, the commander there, he's being promoted to fire station captain. Looks like one of the lieutenants is going to be promoted to station chief, which is awesome. So one of the lieutenants, there's only three there. There's Kenny. There's another one named Beatrice, and another one that everybody just calls Guts. He's kind of slow. He's probably not going to be the first pick, but he's a real nice guy.
Be right
And
back. I gotta pick up this.
Yep.
Are any of you guys firefighters in real life?
No, I'm a cubicle gnome. I work from home.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, no, I was the closest thing that I was in the Navy, so I had like very basic fire training, but no, that wasn't my
Right on.
job. I was meteorology and oceanography. Now I'm in sales.
Right on. Thanks for your service.
Nah, I mean, you're welcome, but nah, unnecessary. Thank you though.
Hey, you're welcome. I have too many lifelong friends that are military career men. It's you deserve the recognition it's due, regardless of what you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't change it, but I mean, there are other ways to spend your time. I just chose that one because I didn't want to go to college.
Mhm.
A lot of people I know went there because they didn't want to go to jail. So, it's a win-win.
Right. Honestly, if I hadn't gone, I probably would have ended up in jail. But that's not why I went.
Right.
Actually, I signed up out of sheer boredom. Like I was living in Gainesville, Florida, and I was so freaking bored. I was just like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. This sucks. So I went to the recruiter's office and was like, okay, well, what do you got? And they're like, oh, this is a fun job, and I was like, yeah, that does sound fun. It was not. It was very boring and tedious. I mean, you learn a lot in meteorology and oceanography. But
Mhm.
did some cool stuff like weapon ranges and figuring out, like the way that the like the upper atmosphere plays on forward-looking infrared and shit like that. Refraction, and it was neat. But once again, I feel like
No
there were
offense, but
better
you just made
ways.
something that you just made something sound very cool when you were just like, yeah, it's fucking boring. I learned a lot, but it was nothing. And, dude, how the atmosphere interacts on your infrared and shit like that's quite impressive.
It was cool. You meet a lot of cool people and you do a lot of unique things. You see a lot of unique things.
Yeah.
Running back.
All
Welcome
right,
back.
excellent. So you guys make your way back into the building, right? Like I said, the party's going on. Um, are you finding Kenny and telling him anything, or are you just kind of letting things happen as they go?
If we were able to make note of the beautiful sky and all the alignment, I think I would probably definitely tell Kenny. And I mean, if something like this hasn't happened in so many hundreds of years, I'd probably make an announcement to the bar. To be quite honest with you, like this is a major event.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it takes some time to get people's attention. I mean, by the time you get everybody settled in, and you're like, hey, this is what's going on. You get them kind of settled down a little bit, man. It's it's drawn in close to midnight, and the bartender's like, hey, you know what? We've got the sound system. Let's put it on. Let's put it on the news. And everybody's like, yeah, let's watch. And flip it over, and they find, like, I mean, it's big news. It hasn't happened in, you know 1,500 years almost, or more. And so, they flip it on, and it's so cool seeing it. And like, they have people that are talking from like the orbital stations. We've got you've got people from, I mean, even like the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, which you never hear anything out of that. But in a situation like this, they're like, oh yeah, we're in contact with our orbital stations, and through our arching systems, we're able to determine the exact precise alignment, and this, that, the other. And it's just coming, everything's coming together, and you're learning so much about it. And like, as it's starting to appear, it's like, they're like, we're approaching the absolute zenith of this. Um, all of a sudden, like, special report flashes up, and it says, and we're now going to take you to 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 what is already what's already seems to be happening here. Um, and uh, we bring to Sergeant Julia Lowe, um, and it looks like there's been a nuclear strike that has hit somewhere, and there's been a return fire. Now, there's been some thoughts about this, that there's been escalations between these two countries, but it's nobody really thought that it would get to this level. And then suddenly the secondary strike comes through, and like, it's live. You see it. You see the nuclear weapons hit. You know, you see the flash of light that appears. You see just like the darkness get lit up, and then there's like this massive blue glow that hits on the holovid screen, and then, like, all at once, all the communication, like all the satellite relay is shut down, and then there's silence for like a couple of seconds, and then for a couple more seconds, people start saying, "Oh my God, did you see that? There was they were they 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 launched nuclear weapons." And there's like, no, that couldn't have been what we saw. It had to be something different. And then you hear somebody's like, no, but did you see that blue glow? What the hell was that? What kind of weapon would do something like that? And then everybody, like, you all start to feel like your hair begin to stand up on end, and just like prick up. Your nerves start to fry. Your teeth grit. Your eyes start to bulge. There's this headache that's just coming from somewhere deep, deep, deep in the back of your mind. Um, Suddenly, Lucas, you get that flash again. It's like this blueness, and then this horror and pain, but you all are starting to sense it and feel it. Um, it's it's a local anchor pops up, and states, and this is happening now. We've been covering the story for you here. Now it appears that in retaliation for the Chromium Guardsman attack, a nuclear strike has been utilized for the first time since 2029. What is unclear at this point is the type of energy released during the, and then that local transmission ends abruptly. And at first, there's a slight tremor. It's like the entire ground starts to shake. And then there's a rumble, just like a freight train. And then, boom, windows shatter. The building begins to creak and shake where you're at. You hear explosions ripping through the streets. This massive streak of blue light comes flying down, just like traveling, traveling at you know at, at the speed of light. Who knows? I mean, it's so fast. First it's dark, and then it's blue everywhere. Um, there's this massive just downpour of rain that starts. The winds start to howl. You can see through the blue. The firehouse, you see it in the across the street. It begins to shake, and bits and pieces of crumble and start falling down. Um, Thunder just peals. Wow! People begin to shriek and scream, just dropping to their knees in sheer abject terror. All of you make a horror factor saving throw. Difficulty is going to be 15.
Negatory. It's a D20.
Wrong
Oh, no.
dice. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Wrong dice. Oh, look at that. Right on.
Tomas. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody in the building is just overcome with this just abject terror. Like it feels like something from beyond has reached into your bodies and ripped your soul out, exposed it to a nuclear fire, and chucked it right back into your bodies. And that is what everyone on Earth is feeling at this exact moment. Welcome to Chaos Earth. This is where we'll stop for the night.
Awesome. Awesome.
I can just imagine myself embracing the quickening like in the fucking Highlander.
All right, I'll be
I just totally failed with that one.
I'll be right back.
Yep.